I've had to put the gearbox project on hold at the minute due to, well, lack of parts and a few disasters in my ordering for parts on eBay. I'll talk about that maybe at some point, but I'm just going to clean up the dampers with the remains of this old tin of gunk, which is probably the good stuff. And get these ready for painting. I'm actually going to have to do some painting myself, shock horror. Because you can't powder coat these or shot blast them or anything, obviously, because they're under pressure, or at least they've got a rubber seals and everything, so you can't get them hot or gritty. So old-fashioned dunking in grease cleaner, degreaser. It's amazing these still work, actually. I don't know how old they are, but the damping part of them, yeah, damping part is just fine. Basically squirting oil through a little gap inside in a washer somewhere, and it makes it hard. It's that's the rebound damping. So when the wheels, this is when the compression's, when the wheel is going up. That's the compression damping. Because the compression damping is quite light. The rebound damping is much stiffer. I'm sure there's a good reason for that. A suspension person could tell you. There's really only a tiny little bit of gunk, but it's enough to do this, I think. So what I'm going to do after I've cleaned all this muck off is cut off these rubbers. I've tried on the other one. You can just cut off this excess rubber that's kind of oozing out from the what are they called? The bushes, the rubber bushes here, and they seem all right. It's just kind of the outside bit. So I cut that off with a knife. Give them a good old going at with a wire brush, etc., to clean off most of the stuff. I'm dipping them in Evapor Rust. Which is, despite its name, well, because of its name, it does seem to work, but just something named like that I didn't trust, but it does actually work. No idea how it works. You can tell it's doing something that's giving off hydrogen because of the smell, and yet it says no acids or alkalis or anything, so some clever chemistry going on there. Don't know what it is, but it works better than those other things like Coca-Cola, which have never worked for me. Oh, there we go, the preload. So this is the preload adjuster. It basically, the position of it tightens the spring up more and more, so you've got more tension before the shock starts to move effectively. So for heavier people or riding 2 up, for example, which only one of those will be happening on this bike, and that's not 2 up. There may be a heavy person on it, especially as we're all in lockdown. I don't know about anyone else, but I seem to be eating twice as much as I did before then. But at least we've got food. So I'm going to leave that to soak for a bit, get all the rest of the stuff off, take it away to rinse it, and then I should put it in the vise to get the wire brush on it, etc. So yeah, be back in a minute. So that's the worst of the grease off, and as I said, I'm going to cut off this manky looking bit of rubber here that doesn't actually seem to do very much, but it has perished away with age, which is not surprising. You can get replacement bushes, but they're kind of expensive. I think £6 or £8 each, so you're sort of up in the price of new shocks there, which is a bit crazy. Nice to keep the original ones if you can. And then it says I'm going to let them sit in some evaporus for a while. You can see, hopefully, this one has been sitting for a while. I think you can see it's starting to clean up very nicely. It's impressive stuff. Impressive stuff. Stinks of rotten eggs, which I'm pretty sure is hydrogen. So anyway, I'll put that one in there, along with the other one. I have checked on the label for evaporust. It said it doesn't harm rubber, doesn't harm chrome, so I'm quite happy with that. See you in a bit. Okay, I think I'm ready. I've got a couple of hooks to hang them off. I'm going to hold it in my hand to spray it, but hook to hold it up to dry. Or maybe screwdriver to spray it. Something like that. Something like that. It's a nice sunny day, terrible for filming, but great for painting because they're pretty much dry already, which is only a few minutes. So here we go with the top coat. Try not to let that preload thing slide up. Okay, dry enough to do the last piece. Tacos. Okay, so these are nice and dry. We're going to put them together now. I had these at first, these are the right tops, but I couldn't get replacement ones of these in stainless, so I bought the whole shebang, both of them, from Hagen's, and they're slightly bigger, so you can't use these with these because they don't go together. So I had to buy a whole new thing. They're slightly wider, but that's all fine. I've got a glamorous assistant standing to the side who's going to help me with the little bit of assembly, putting these collets in the top, because it's a little bit hard to compress them at the same time as putting the little collets in. So damper, one of these, make sure it's fully extended, spring, one of these, and then what I'm going to do is press the outer down, and hopefully while my glamorous assistant slides there, that's one, and that's two. One, perfect. Okay, now we can fit one to the bike without scratching it, hopefully. And now the other. This one is slightly shorter than the Hagen I stole, so I'm going to have to undo that side, I think, first. think I've figured out what's going on with the back brake now. This was the piece I was talking about that holds the spring. So there's nothing in between the back plate and the swinging arm, but I believe that this goes across here. The problem is this doesn't quite go over this piece. I'm not sure if this is the wrong size, or this might be an A65 plate, which might be slightly different diameter. I'm not sure, but I think I can just open this out and that should go behind this nut there and then slide over that, I think is the way it should be, but I'm just trying to verify that. Still don't have the brake lever yet, don't have the foot pedal either, or the rod, so there's a few bits to get on the brake, but the wheel I'm pretty sure is in the right place now. And that was a combination of there's a like a sponge gasket thing around the spline there that really needed pushing. It's actually rubber, needed pushing quite hard to bring the wheel over, and then I could tighten the axle up, and I've got the right spacer now, so it's all good, and it appears to be pretty much in the middle, but I need to check the alignment when I've got the gearbox in and everything. I have the engine plates, I have the nuts and bolts and everything to put the gearbox in, and next is going to be that, I think. Although I'm still wondering about just here. Here I thought it used the battery mount to mount the central oil tank, but in fact there's a special plate that goes in here and it's actually welded to this cross member. So I might bite the bullet and have a go at doing that, although I'm not the world's best welder. You won't be able to see most of it anyway, so yeah, I'm toying with the idea of doing that next. But we'll see. That's it for now.